It's been found that Germanwings Co-pilot Andreas Lubitz had rehearsed his deliberate suicide plan to crash the plane in the French Alps. It has been revealed that the recordings have surfaced that it's clear he attempted to test the system on the previous outbound flight to Barcelona. Experienced pilots know that you should not drop from up to 49,000 feet down to 100 feet so quickly, and this should have never have happened. Nick, the recordings have just recently surfaced on the fact that, and the only reason they weren't necessarily uncovered is because during a landing they can go sometimes undetected. But now they're saying that any pilot would have never done this. Any experienced pilot would not drop significantly to land a plane from 49,000 to 100 feet. So now they're looking at it and saying, is this actually an attempt? Was he practicing? Was he rehearsing for the tragedy that happened in the French Alps?
You know, Madison, I don't think that it's a coincidence. I mean, it might seem like a clear connection here, his descent rapidly. I mean, that could have been for numerous reasons, but with a guy like this, it kind of brings to light how premeditated this was and how he knew it was happening. That's kind of what's so eerie about this whole thing. He had this idea in his head the whole time that he was going to take his own life and hundreds of innocent people with him. I just think it's terrible, and like I said, just to reiterate, the fact that it was so premeditated makes it all the more eerie to me.
Yeah, they found in his house sticky notes saying that he was going to do the suicide. He was also on the internet looking at how to trap the cockpit door.
Mm-hmm.
There was also, in 2010, he was awarded his pilot license, but there was also in 2008, he was mentally diagnosed with severe depression. When he turned in his first note, he said that he wasn't. He was mentally fine. But then he, a week later, turned in a second note to say that he was being treated with severe depression. So it raises the question, with such a high, stressful job as being a pilot, should have anybody turned a blind eye to the fact that he was a manic depressive with struggling with this and behind a cockpit and with people's lives at stake?
I know. My father is a commercial airline pilot, so I know firsthand how stressful the job can be. You're always on the road for weeks at a time. The sky, not the road. But it just shows, you know, it's just so sad that no one did anything about it, and it was obvious that the man had some psychological issues. And unfortunately, they're going to step up the precaution now, but where were they before? Something like this needs to happen for certain rules to be set in place. We don't think of these things ahead of time. Should somebody who's mentally unstable be suitable to have hundreds of people's lives in their hands that far up in the air? We just didn't think it was that necessary. Obviously now it's going to change, but like I said, unfortunately something terrible, terrible, terrible like this had to happen first.
And maybe the people who didn't see this coming with the drop needs to be more on top of in air controls.
Why is this coming out just now?
Why is this coming out now? So somebody might be responsible for not noticing what was going on and talking to the pilot. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he shouldn't have gone on the next flight.
And that goes to also to say with his his mental examinations.
Exactly.
Somebody should have been on top of that and said he's not suitable to fly a plane.
Somebody needs to put attention on things that have red flags. And I think there was numerous red flags in this incident to maybe help prevent this tragedy from happening. We'd like to hear what you have to think about this latest news about the attempted suicide on the outbound plane to Barcelona. Please leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching LIP TV 2.